Good evening, and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day number 209, Part 3. Using Sefer Hachinuch Mitzvah Day keeps us on its way. A male may not cohabit with another male. The Rambam and the Ramban, who disagree with Unkelus's explanation of the verse, are seemingly left without a scriptural source that prohibits marriage to a Canaanite maidservant. The Chinuch addresses this issue. Now you should not be troubled by the following question. From which verse then will we derive a prohibition against marrying a Canaanite maidservant? If we do not adopt the opinion of Unkelus, the translator, regarding the verse, "There shall not be a Kaddish." You might assert that this prohibition can be derived from that which is written in Deuteronomy, "You shall not intermarry with them," meaning other nations. However, this is not so, for it is explicit in the Gemara and Avodah Zarah that this verse comes to prohibit intermarriage only with the 7 Canaanite nations who inhabited Eretz Yisrael before the Jewish people. And it is specifically concerning them that this prohibition is written. Moreover, this prohibition applies only after members of the 7 nations have converted to Judaism. For as they're not Jewish, the term marriage, which the Torah used in setting forth this prohibition, is inappropriate for describing a union with them, as we shall write with the help of Hashem in his proper place, in Parshas V'Eschanan 4:27. Seemingly then, the verse, "There shall not be a Kaddish," etc., is the only viable source for the prohibition to marry a Canaanite maidservant, and since the Rambam and Ramban disagree with the interpretation of Unkelus, they are left without a source. The Chinuch suggests an alternative source. However, it is possible to say that we can derive the prohibition to marry a Canaanite maidservant along with the general prohibition to marry a woman from any non-Jewish nation. For it is prohibited to unite with them in marriage, as the sages have expounded upon them in Avodah Zarah, from that which is written in Deuteronomy, after the prohibition against marrying a convert from the 7 nations, "You shall not give your daughter to his son, nor shall you take his son for your daughter, for he will cause your offspring to stray from following me." The sages stated that this phrase comes to include in the prohibition of intermarriage all those who might lead one's offspring astray. This certainly includes all non-Jews who, by virtue of not being commanded in the mitzvahs of the Torah, might cause a child that they help raise to go astray from the Torah. The same applies to a Canaanite maidservant. Since she is not a full-fledged Jewess, she is included in the category of those who might lead a person's offspring astray. For there are some mitzvahs in which she is not obligated, namely those in whose context the Torah explicitly writes the phrase, "Speak to the children of Israel," which excludes anybody who is not fully Jewish, including Canaanite maidservants, as the Gemara states explicitly in several places. By virtue of these exceptions of these exemptions from mitzvahs, a Canaanite maidservant is included in the category of those who might lead one's offspring astray. Therefore, the verse that prohibits marriage with all non-Jews can also serve as a source to prohibit marriage with a Canaanite maidservant. All agree then that it is biblically prohibited to marry a Canaanite maidservant, and the only dispute concerns the exact source of the prohibition. We will continue with this beautiful mitzvah. Again, we got a little off track from the mitzvah entitled "A male may not cohabit with another male," regarding the maidservant, because we said that Devarim was also referring to that, but some say not. So that's the whole idea of why we got off this tangent. But God willing, we'll come back to our main mitzvah tomorrow. Sponsor 36,100 for the gold.